The government and people of the Republic of Ghana, and on behalf of His Excellency President John Mahama, I wish to express our deepest gratitude and appreciation to all member states for your support and condolences extended to the government and people of Ghana during the passing on and funeral of our late President, His Excellency President John Evans Atta Mills. May I also, on behalf of the government and the people of the Republic of Ghana, extend our heartfelt and sincere condolences to the government and people of the Islamic Republic of Iran following the loss of the lives of more than 300 Iranians as a result of the tragic twin earthquakes which took place on the 21st. Our thoughts and prayers go to the families of the victims. I would also, on behalf of the government and people of Ghana, wish to use this platform to express our deepest condolences to the brotherly people of Ethiopia, particularly to the bereaved family on the demise of His Excellency Prime Minister Meles Zenawi. Our thoughts and prayers go to them during this difficult moment. Mr. Chairman, I am most honored for the opportunity accorded me to contribute to this interactive debate on the subject of lasting peace through joint global governance. Mr. Chairman, peace has been and continues to be an ever-present aspiration of humankind. States have continued to strive for sustained peace by signing the Bryan-Kellogg Pact in 1928 to renounce the recourse to war as a national policy for solving international controversies. Even though the Non-Aligned Movement has throughout its history played a fundamental role in the efforts at bringing about world peace and security, lasting peace continues to elude most parts of the globe. Conflict situations in various parts of the world, the global economic crisis, and terrorist activities in relative stable areas of the world can be attributed to the failure of global governance. Mr. Chairman, there is therefore the need for joint global governance and cooperation among different actors at the international level to provide order and predictability to relations among states based on accepted international norms and international law to bring about lasting global peace. Excellencies, it may be recalled that the 15th summit of the Non-Aligned Movement, which took place in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, in 2009, ended with a comprehensive agreement on how to reform global governance, finance, and security policies to adequately reflect the needs of the increasingly marginalized developing world. Reforms in global governance need to be pursued through balanced representation in international organizations and economic institutions. A balanced representation of the developing South and the industrialized North in decision-making processes of international organizations and institutions such as the United Nations, the World Trade Organization, the International Monetary Fund, and the World Bank will invariably contribute to the search for lasting peace. It is this burning desire within the movement for the South and the North to contribute to the management of challenges confronting the world that has put United Nations security reforms at the center of our movement's advocacy efforts since its inception. The reforms proposed by the movement were generally geared, among other things, towards the expansion of the Security Council in a bid to strengthen multilateralism within the Council. Mr. Chairman, I wish to seize the opportunity to reiterate the importance of timely actions by the UN in concert with regional groups such as the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, to bring lasting solutions to regional conflicts. In this connection, I wish to reiterate the call by ECOWAS for an international mandate for humanitarian intervention in Mali. The political crisis in Mali is threatening the disintegration of the country and the destabilization of West and North Africa. The north of Mali is controlled militarily by armed terrorist groups and drug traffickers, and the central authority in Bamako is incapable of confronting the militias that have plagued northern Mali. Meanwhile, these militants have been committing egregious human rights abuses and crimes against humanity, which include mass killings of captured military men, rape, torture, stoning of people to death, hacking of arms, public flogging, and the destruction of World Heritage sites in the ancient city of Timbuktu. We wish to call on the United Nations Security Council to accord urgent attention to this looming humanitarian catastrophe in Mali, which has the potential of destabilizing West and North Africa, and to approve military intervention by ECOWAS and the other willing countries to oust the terrorist groups and drug warlords who control northern Mali. Furthermore, the UN needs to provide material and logistic support to the intervention force. The global efforts against terrorism must not be selective if the international community is to succeed in making the world a peaceful place for humanity. Another important issue which global democratic governance needs to address is that of the uncontrolled trade and trafficking in small arms and light weapons, which is relevant to sustainable peace in the world in general and the developing world in particular. As we are all aware, armed conflicts such as those in Mali and the Democratic Republic of Congo are fueled by small arms which are acquired at ridiculously low prices. These arms clearly constitute an active weapon of mass destruction of lives, which must be confronted through joint effective global governance in the interest of lasting peace in the world. Although the non-aligned movement has since its inception advocated for comprehensive nuclear disarmament of all countries, the focus on nuclear disarmament should not neglect the need for conscious global efforts to restrict access to small arms and light weapons, which are actually destroying lives en masse in the world, particularly in Africa, Asia, and Latin America. The industrialized countries must regulate their arms industries in a manner which will prevent them from flooding particularly the continents of Africa and Asia with small arms and light weapons. Excellencies, the process of globalization and trade liberalization has produced uneven benefits among and within states. The global economy is thus characterized by slow and lopsided growth and instability. The global economic crisis and the current financial crisis in the European Union is a wake-up call for a paradigm shift in economic decision-making mechanisms. There is therefore the need for structural reforms in the World Trade Organization, the International Monetary Fund, and other international financial institutions for greater openness and representation in negotiations and decision-making. Additionally, the UN's role as the main forum for international cooperation for economic development needs to be reinforced. Joint global governance over issues of international trade is important for sustainable peace in the world. Fair international trade and trade regimes which are devoid of power politics is a guarantee for lasting peace. Restrictions to free international trade among countries through trade embargoes and economic sanctions do not promote peace in the world. It is for this reason that the international community should denounce efforts by any country to economically strangulate another. The movement's continued advocacy in its principal positions concerning international law and human rights is an effort at achieving sustainable peace in the world. Actions and measures by states which seek to undermine international law and international legal instruments such as the UN Charter constitute a serious danger and threat to global peace and security. It is therefore time for the developed North to join the developing South in condemning unilateral actions by any states which violate established norms of international law in the interest of lasting peace. In this regard, Doctrines such as that of preemptive strikes, which contravene international norms, Articles 2.4 of the UN Charter, which stipulates that states should avoid the use of threat of the use of force in their dealings with each other, must be condemned. Such doctrines increase global tensions and violate the rights of peoples to freedom from fear. Furthermore, humanitarian intervention should not be used to promote regime change in countries in flagrant violation of the right of nations to determine their own system of governance. Excellencies, fostering international cooperation and constructive dialogue in human rights between and among international governmental organizations such as the NAM, the G8, the Group of 77, and the UN will reduce the occurrence of double standards, selectivity, and political manipulation in the promotion and protection of human rights. In this regard, the unilateral exercise of extraterritorial criminal and civil jurisdiction of national courts not emanating from international treaties and other obligations arising from international law, including international humanitarian law, must be renounced in the interest of lasting global peace. In this connection, it is important that the Human Rights Council provides equal treatment to both civil and political rights, as well as economic, social, and cultural rights, and the right to development. Emphasis needs to be laid on the fact that economic and social development, peace and security, human rights, and the rule of law are intricately interconnected and key to sustainable peace. Mr. Chairman, I am convinced that a peaceful world can be carved if international governmental groupings of the developing South, such as the NAM, the Group of 77, etc., and other groupings of the industrialized North, such as the G8, jointly participate in taking decisions on political, economic, social, developmental, and environmental challenges confronting humanity. I thank you. Thank you, Madam.